Good morning, and welcome to the New Hanover County Schools Morning Show. I'm Rocco Salerno.
And I'm Jason Dergala. This is the week of February 10th through the 16th. Thank you for joining us today and starting your day off with our awesome and outstanding morning show.
We hope you are enjoying our show this year along with our sister show, Your School News.
Anyone with a student in New Hanover County Schools system will want to watch up front with the superintendent. Our host, Ann David, sits down for a one-on-one with Superintendent Dr. Markley. Together, they discuss important topics facing our school system and highlight changes in programs the public needs to know about.
We also have the Forum, hosted by Sheila Evans. The Forum highlights interesting and important achievements, programs, and events within our school system and community. Every episode features 3 separate interviews which strengthen the bond between the school system and the community.
And another show you shouldn't miss on our channel is Diversity Matters. This show is hosted by Karis Clegg and takes a look at the diversity in our school system and in the community. The show explores unique programs, community partnerships, and talks with the many different students in our school system.
If you are a fan of sports, then be sure to tune in to our coverage of high school basketball on the Sports Roundtable. Each episode features both the men and women's coaches talking about their past games and upcoming games.
So if you are a fan of the morning show and your school news, be sure to tune into our other programs as you will enjoy them as well.
It's time to check in with our third member of our team, Shania McDuffie. She is standing by right now with our first look at the morning news headlines. Good morning, Shania.
Good morning, Rocco and Jason, and welcome everyone to your school news here on the morning show. Topping the headlines this week: former Harvard student and fallen soldier remembered by community. National Pond donates instruments to Noble Middle School. And Anderson Elementary hosts American Idol contestant who puts on a show for students. I will have all these stories and more coming up later in the show.
Thanks, Shania.
It's time for our staple here in the morning show. This Week in History. Our Grand Master of Historical Knowledge has all the headlines from the past times in This Week in History.
Welcome to This Week in History, covering all the colorful and amazing events that have left their mark on history's timeline. This is the week of February 10th through February 16th. February 10th, 2014. Shirley Temple Black dies at the age of 85. As a child in the 1930s, she became one of Hollywood's most successful stars. The plucky, curly-haired performer sang, danced, and acted in dozens of films by the time she was a teen. As an adult, she gave up making movies and served as a U.S. diplomat. February 11th, 1937. After a 6-week sit-down strike by auto workers, the General Motors president signs the first union contract in the history of American auto industry. The United Auto Workers demanded improved working conditions and job security for the auto workers. February 12th, 1912. The last emperor of China is forced to abdicate following a Republican revolution. A provisional government was established ending 267 years of Manchu rule in China and 2,000 years of imperial rule. February 13th, 1861. The earliest military action to be revered with a Medal of Honor award is performed by Colonel Bernard J.D. Iron, an assistant army surgeon. He successfully led 14 men on a mission to rescue 60 troops who were trapped on an Apache pass. February 14th, 1929. Alexander Fleming discovers penicillin when he noticed that a mold in his lab was killing bacteria. He identified the mold and introduced penicillin as a cure bacterial infections. Finally, your Week in History tidbits. February 15th, 1903. Toy store owner and inventor Morris Mitchum places 2 stuffed bears in his shop window, advertising them as teddy bears. Before long, stuffed bears became a national childhood institution. February 16, 1923. In Thebes, Egypt, English archaeologist Howard Carter enters the sealed burial chamber of the ancient Egyptian ruler King Tut. The tomb was and remains the best preserved royal tomb ever discovered. That's This Week in History, your ultimate source for those key moments in time. Thanks for stopping by.
And join us again next time for another journey through time as we explore the fun, fascinating, entertaining, and educational facts that make up this week in history.
We have plenty more of the morning show ahead, including a very special segment on Valentine's Day, which is this Friday.
But first, as we head to break, we have the word of the week. Each week we highlight an advanced English word so you can use them in a sentence. So when you use them in a sentence, you can impress even educated speakers. Here's our word of the week.
Jeff Foxworthy here. You know, if you've ever found yourself repeating the same thing for 75 years, you might be Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Well, thing is, there's a lot more to say. Like if you've ever found yourself burning yard debris and then walking away, well, you might be starting a wildfire. So for the love of the outdoors, go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
So, I just moved in with his family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Welcome back to the morning show. I'm Rocco Salerno.
And I'm Jason Dergala.
This Friday is Valentine's Day, and today we celebrate that day of love on our show.
Valentine's Day means many of us will be out shopping for gifts for those we love. One of the most popular gifts given this holiday is roses.
Roses have been in existence for around 32 million years and have been used for many reasons since the ancient civilizations. They've been bred to be colorful, fragrant, and hardy for thousands of years.
This Valentine's Day, an estimated 110 million roses will be given. 73% of people who buy flowers on Valentine's Day are men, while only 27% are women. 15% of U.S. women send themselves flowers on Valentine's Day as well.
Wow, that's a lot of roses.
Yes, it is.
For more interesting facts and information about Valentine's Day, we have this special segment for you.
Enjoy.
Valentine's Day is named for a Christian martyr and dates back to the 5th century, but has origins in the Roman holiday Lupercalia. That was an ancient Roman festival intended to secure fertility and keep out evil. Most scholars believe that the holiday was named for Saint Valentine, a priest who attracted the disfavor of Roman Emperor Claudius II around 270. Legend has it that Valentine, imprisoned by Claudius, fell in love with the daughter of his jailer. Before he was executed, he allegedly sent her a letter signed, "From your Valentine." In 1381, Chaucer composed a poem in honor of the engagement between England's Richard II and Anne of Bohemia. He linked a royal engagement, the mating season of birds, and St. Valentine's Day. From there, the date has become associated with love. Over the centuries, the holiday evolved, and by the 18th century, gift-giving and exchanging handmade cards on Valentine's Day has become common. Today, almost 25% of all cards sent each year are Valentines. About 1 billion Valentine's Day cards are exchanged each year. Here are a few fun facts about the cards sent, as well as a couple of other popular Valentine's Day gifts. Romantic cards are the best sellers, while an estimated 25% of Valentine's Day cards are humorous. More than 50% of cards are sold the week of the holiday, and the largest and most elaborate Valentine's Day cards are sold 48 hours before February 14th. 1/3 of all Valentine's cards are accompanied by gifts. Popular gifts include chocolate, candy, flowers, jewelry, and a dinner out. More than 35 million heart-shaped boxes of chocolates will be sold for Valentine's Day and almost 8 billion small candy conversation hearts. And finally, about 3% of pet owners will give Valentine's Day gifts to their pets.
We hope you enjoyed that segment.
This Valentine's Day, be sure to reach out to those special people in your life and celebrate with them.
It's time now for our morning news. Let's send it over to Shania McDuffie, who has several great stories to report. Good morning, Shania.
Thank you, and welcome to your school news on the morning show. I'm Shania McDuffie. Our top stories this week: people from around the Wilmington community come together and lined the streets near Hoggard High School to remember and honor former student, Army Specialist Antonio Moore, who passed away recently. With the full stories is Caress Clegg.
Today, the community came together for the procession of Hoggard alumni Specialist Antonio Moore, who was returned home this morning. Vikings past, present, and future, along with community members, lined Shipyard Boulevard and 41st Street, going in both directions to pay their respects and honor the community's fallen soldier. Funeral services for Specialist Moore will be held at Union Missionary Baptist Church on Tuesday, February 4th. For his courage, bravery, selflessness, and sacrifice, Specialist Moore has our eternal gratitude.
On January 29th, National Pond, a North Carolina-based pond realtor with 19 locations across the state, donated more than 100 musical instruments and $2,000 to Noble Middle School in New Hanover County Schools as part of his continued effort to support music education in North Carolina. National Pond presented the monetary and instrument donation, including trumpets, saxophones, clarinets, flutes, trombones, drums, guitars, recorders, and more to students during a dedicated unveiling program at the school. National Pond has a long-standing tradition of supporting youth music programs in every county that is home to one of its stores, with the 2019-2020 school year marking its 9th annual donation.
To have all of these instruments that have been donated by National Pond and the money to take care of any repairs or maybe purchase even more instruments is a game changer for our county and our students.
We're able to get more kids into the band.
It makes me realize that they really do care about the children in the school.
Kids can't afford to buy instruments and rent them, so it just helps out a lot for kids in need.
Since 2010, the company has donated over 4,300 instruments and $76,000 in cash to 25 public performing arts programs in Alamance, Cumberland, Durham, Forsyth, Guilford, Mecklenburg, New Hanover, and Wake County. New Hanover County Schools will hold its annual Magnet and Choice Schools Fair on Thursday, February 2020, from 5:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. at Independence Mall Center Court. The Magnet and Choice Schools Fair is an opportunity for the district to share with the parents and the community detailed information about programs and how to register students. Each school and invited community partners will have a table to promote their school or organization. The Magnet and Choices School Fair will provide information on the following topics: special programs, academic programs, gifted programs, student perspectives, staff perspectives, benefits, lottery process where applicable, school calendars and application timeline. All parents living in New Hanover County are welcome to attend. Bilingual liaisons will be available as well as representatives from Student Support Services to answer any enrollment questions that parents may have. There will be entertainment and door prizes. The event is free to attend. American Idol fans, this next story is for you. Anderson Elementary School recently hosted former American Idol contestant Josh Ward. Ward was part of the VIP concert and also a senior at Ashley High School in Wilmington. Students saved admirable bucks and purchased advance tickets to the show, where Josh sang several songs, including those from Ed Sheeran. He also played the guitar. In addition to the fun show, students also received gold glow bracelets and autographed pictures of Josh.
These kids are the future. They're kindergarten through second graders and third through fifth graders. they're coming up and they're learning about life each and every day. And I just hope that I can be an encouragement to them today while I am singing up there on the stage, while I'm talking, and hopefully I can have an impact on their lives so they'll go and follow their dreams just like I followed mine.
For all of the latest on New Hanover County Schools, join us weekdays at 5 p.m. here on Spectrum Cable Channel 5 and Channel 191 in Carolina Beach. For your school news, a complete half hour of all the latest news and information from New Hanover County Schools. Now back to our guests, to our host.
Thanks, Shania.
All right, it's time now for this week's lunch menu. This is the menu for Monday, February 10th through Monday, February 17th.
On Monday, February 10th, start your week off right with scrumptious pasta with meat sauce and a garlic nut, crispy chicken tenders, or grilled cheese sandwich. Finish off the meal with vegetable soup, healthy green beans, tomato and cucumber salad, and diced peaches.
Then on Tuesday, February 11th, feast like royalty on General Tso chicken with brown rice, a scrumptious sloppy joe, or a chicken quesadilla. Continue the explosion of flavor with the side items of California blend vegetables and diced pears.
On Wednesday, February 12th, decide on the tough choice of finger-licking chicken wings with a corn muffin, chili corn carne with a corn muffin, or zesty barbecue riblet sandwich. Choose from an assortment of sides including sweet potato puffs and amazing applesauce.
On Thursday, February 13th, fill your belly with a bonacious bacon cheeseburger, barbecue chicken with brown rice, or a barkingly good hot dog. Complement your entree with steamy roasted potatoes, baked beans, and mandarin oranges.
Then, on Friday, February 14th, celebrate a clean weekend with a yummy chicken nuggets, a beef and cheddar sandwich, or pepperoni or cheese French bread pizza. Finish off the meal with mashed potatoes, amazing carrots, and wonderful mixed fruits.
Finally, on Monday, February 17th, shake off those Monday morning blues at lunch with chicken wings and a garlic naan, a lasagna roll-up, or an appetizing barbecue riblet sandwich. Stay healthy by enjoying broccoli with cheese, a tomato and cucumber salad, and delicious diced peaches.
And there you have it, the lunch menu for the week. In addition to those items, milk, a garden salad, fresh fruit, French bread pizza, and a peanut butter and jelly combo will be available daily.
So many delicious choices. Don't forget, you can also start your day off with a healthy and hearty breakfast at school.
Now, when we come back, we have a great segment produced by an NHCS TV intern.
It's coming up right after this short break.
Days, months,
Hey, I'm Jim from across the street.
years,
I'd like to give you this.
a lifetime can rush by without realizing what we're missing. We lose some of the best moments, some that may never repeat,
Come on.
or detach from people around us. Our loved ones grow used to this pattern. But it doesn't have to be that way. We have a choice to take action. It's never too late to live a full life again. Hear how many of us Vietnam veterans have managed our mental health and reconnected with our families. Visit maketheconnection.net to find out more.
Welcome back to the morning show. I'm Rocco Solano.
And I'm Jason Dergala.
If you have some free time or are looking for a new hobby where you can meet new people and challenge your mind, then pay attention.
NHCS TV intern Dylan Roberts takes us into the world of card games with this new segment titled Fun Index. Today, he looks at the highly popular game Yu-Gi-Oh!
Hello, and welcome to Fun Index. I'm your host, Dylan Roberts. Today we have the chance to look at a card game that has always been a big hit. Yu-Gi-Oh! Hit the scene in 1996 as a manga, and the cards were released in 1999 with how successful the manga and television show had been. The game was so successful, in fact, that it was named as the top-selling trading card game in history by Guinness World Records in 2009. In Yu-Gi-Oh!, the goal is to get rid of all of your opponent's life points. You do this by attacking them with your monster and spell cards. However, you must have gotten rid of all of your opponent's monster cards first, so you have to attack them. Of course, that's an oversimplification, but the core of the game is there.
If you don't know anything about Yu-Gi-Oh!, then I would guess pick one of the starter decks and have somebody else get a starter deck as well and just play a few games here and there, so you can get a feel for it, and then eventually at some point then try to figure out what kind of deck that you want to play, because there's control, aggro, that kind of stuff, and then based on that, then if they're in the area, they can just come over here. A bunch of us very nice, very helpful, depending on what you're looking for, we have no problems with helping you out and just getting you to where you want to go so you can have fun and enjoy this game.
Just be patient. It's an easy enough game, but it gets more complex the more you learn. So you just got to be patient. You're gonna lose a lot. It is what it is. It's part of the learning process. You just got to learn how not to lose like that next time and stuff like that. And then be creative. Don't play the same. I don't play the same thing over and over, ever. So you gotta be creative, man. Just try everything, and just be patient. That's really it.
While there are official Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournaments held in many different locations, some of the most popular events for many players of the game are local nights where they just go and have fun with other fans of the game. An event like this happens weekly at Cape Fear Games, a hotspot for card and board game players in Wilmington.
I'm not from here, so all of the friends I have from Wilmington, because I'm from Ohio, all of my friends from Wilmington, this is how I met them. It's playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Coming here on the weekends when I was in Marine Corps and stuff like that. So I really like the staff. Like I said, I've been coming here for years. I moved back to Ohio for a couple of years, but most of the staff's still the same when I got back. And all the people I used to play with now are still playing for the most part, so yeah.
Cape Fear Games is a great place for any card game enthusiast to go. You can find them at 4107 Oleander Drive, online at www.capefeargames.com, or call them at 910-798-6006. I'm Dylan Roberts, reminding you to keep your deck topped up.
Thank you, Dylan. That looks like a fun game to play.
And very popular locally. That was a crowded game night in the video.
Keep it tuned to the morning show for more fun and decks as Dylan explores more exciting and fun games you can play.
Now venture out to one of America's wildest places. In this series, we take a visual and audio tour of one of America's national wildlife refuges, brought to you by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. You'll learn about the plants and animals at each one, as well as the different seasons of the year. Enjoy the sights and sound of America's wildest places. Today we head off to San Francisco and the Don Edwards San Francisco National Bay Wildlife Refuge.
Within easy reach of San Francisco's busy metropolis lie 7 natural treasures, as precious as the gold discovered near here in 1848. Their islands and ponds, dunes and wetlands are havens for wildlife and for people. These special places are the National Wildlife Refuges of the San Francisco and Monterey Bay areas. Antioch Dunes National Wildlife Refuge runs along the southern shore of the San Joaquin River. It was the first national wildlife refuge set aside to protect endangered plants and insects. The refuge is home to the Antioch Dunes evening primrose and Contra Costa wallflower. It is also home to the endangered Lang's meadowlark butterfly, which is dependent on native buckwheat and lives nowhere else in the world. Docents lead tours each month, and volunteers help with habitat restoration and monitoring. San Pablo Bay National Wildlife Refuge was established to protect the pickleweed and cordgrass salt marsh and its resident endangered species. The California clapper rail is a full-time resident, as is the salt marsh harvest mouse, Both species live only in the salt marshes of San Francisco Bay, and this refuge provides some of their best habitat. Although composed of only 2 tiny specks of rocky land and their surrounding waters, Marin Islands National Wildlife Refuge hosts one of the largest heron and egret rookeries in California. It also provides habitat for other birds, such as the black oyster catcher, osprey, and geese. Farallon National Wildlife Refuge is the oldest of the refuges in the Bay Area. It is made up of a half a dozen rocky outcrops known as the Farallon Islands, which rise from the Pacific Ocean 28 miles west of San Francisco Bay. Farallon's cliffs are brimming with common murres and other seabirds. Below them, fur seals, elephant seals, and sea lions breed or haul out after an ocean swim. Fur seals are breeding on the islands again, after more than 150 years' absence. From late summer to fall, large numbers of California brown pelicans also make their home here. South of the Farallon Islands at Monterey Bay lie 2 more refuges, Salinas River and Ellicott Slough. Salinas River National Wildlife Refuge is a patchwork quilt of habitats, including grassland, salt marsh, saline pond, sand dunes, and the Salinas River. Thanks to its habitat diversity, this small refuge provides living space for a variety of wildlife species, many of them threatened or endangered. Among them are western snowy plovers. During the summer, they nest on the beach and dunes. Nearby lies Ellicott Slough National Wildlife Refuge and State Ecological Reserve. This refuge was established to protect the Santa Cruz long-toed salamander and its seasonal wetland and upland habitats. Biologists monitor this endangered species throughout the year to help ensure its survival. Once again on San Francisco Bay, along its southern end, lies the Don Edwards San Francisco Bay National Wildlife Refuge. It was the country's first urban national wildlife refuge. Don Edwards is the largest of our local refuges, and it provides an oasis for millions of migratory birds and a variety of endangered species. They are close. They are wild. They are yours. They are the refuges of the San Francisco Bay National Wildlife Refuge Complex. Now let's go outside.
If you would like to learn more about the National Wildlife Refuge System, visit the website www.fws.gov/refuges.
At the site, you can explore the system across the 50 states, plan trips, learn about the history, and so much more.
You can also keep tuning into the morning show as each episode of America's Wildest Places explores different refuge.
Now we head to Bray with our new modern music bumper. Enjoy these quick looks and listens of the musicians of our time.
We'll be right back.
Club 7 and all those boy bands. Now it's been a few years and looks like things have changed. Now she's smiling and I wanna say,
Your son wants to get a cat,
I'll really take care of it.
but you're allergic. Do you A, prepare yourself, B, make the best of it,
C squared equals
25.
Good job!
or C, find a loophole? When it comes to parenting, there are no perfect answers, but that's okay, because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Our hearts are made stronger by how we treat others.
Put her there.
The light you share can impact those around you, but so can the darkness.
Later, twerps. Did Pete saying mean things bother you?
So when you reach out to another person, take a moment to consider how they will feel and let your heart be the key to making a difference. Because of you, someone's entire day, year, or even life can change.
In every heart, there's hope.
Good morning, and welcome back to the morning show. I'm Jason Dergala.
And I'm Rocco Salerno.
We have some great segments ahead, but first we have our Did You Know?
Did you know Venus is the only planet that spins clockwise?
A day in Venus is actually longer than a year in Venus, if you can believe it. It takes 243 Earth days to complete one rotation. The orbit of the planet takes 225 Earth days, making a year in Venus shorter than a day in Venus.
The current theory is that Venus has always spun the same way as the other planets, just upside down.
Scientists have hypothesized that the sun's gravitational pull caused strong atmospheric tides, which caused the planet to flip around. Other scientists argue that it didn't flip, the rotation just slowed down enough to pull in the opposite direction.
The retrograde of Venus is a puzzling one, but we may never really know why it spins the opposite way.
Other Venus facts. Venus is the closest planet to Earth, about 25.5 million miles.
Venus orbits the Sun in an ellipse, but its orbit is the closest to being a circle out of all of the planets in the solar system.
And finally, Venus is the only planet in the solar system to be named after a female figure.
And that's our Did You Know about Venus.
Changing gears now, we take a look at our own planet and its history.
Archaeologists study past human life and culture through the recovery and examination of remaining material evidence. Using artifacts, inscriptions, monuments, and other remains, they can paint a picture of the past. In many cases, that picture tells a story.
We have one of those amazing stories from our friends at the Archaeology Channel. This week, they take us to Hawaii, where we learn about a unique restoration project.
Restoration projects come in many different varieties, as you'll see in our next item from the island of Molokai in Hawaii. By Hawaiian standards, Molokai is fairly remote and undeveloped. Back in the 1860s, Hawaiians with Hansen's disease, better known as leprosy, were forced into quarantine at the colony of Kalaupapa on the island's north shore. It was in operation for about a century. Today, that place is managed by the National Park Service as Kalaupapa National Historical Park. Its centerpiece is a wooden structure called Pasquawal Hall. We thank the U.S. Forest Service for sending us this video on the work that has been done to preserve this building for future generations.
Kalaupapa, Hawaii is one of those rare places where the history that began in the 1860s is still alive today. This place has a story to tell that will become even more compelling with time. Located on the rugged north shore of Molokai, the peninsula was home to native Hawaiians for nearly 800 years. Archaeological sites in the form of walls, temples, houses, and fishing shelters are evidence of a once thriving culture. Life changed dramatically here in 1866. The sheer sea cliffs and pounding ocean made this volcanic tongue an inescapable place to isolate Hawaiians who had contracted Hansen's disease, better known as leprosy. Hansen's disease had reached almost epidemic levels among the Hawaiian people. Those were frightening times, both for those afflicted and for those who came forward as kakua, or helpers. One person who courageously stepped forward was a Catholic priest from Belgium named Father Damien de Vooster. He devoted the rest of his life to improving the conditions of the people exiled to this place. Over the years, some 8,000 patients were sent to Kalaupapa. History continues to live on here. Built in 1916, Pascal Hall is the largest structure in the community. Until the early 1960s, it was the center for social gatherings and a wide variety of entertainment. Because of its special meaning to residents, Pascal Hall was chosen for a major historic preservation project. It presented a daunting challenge because of its size and state of deterioration. The work has been divided into 4 phases. The first phase began in March 1998 and addressed the serious termite damage to the structural members of the building.
The huge hall was jacked up, and the damaged sill plates, structural columns, interior diagonal bracing, and roof trusses were repaired or replaced. The second phase involved replacing the deteriorated composition shingle roof. This was complicated by its sheer size and the fact that it was so cut up by hips, valleys, and additions. The new roof, now covered with wood cedar shingles, appears as it did in 1916. The third phase will be to restore the exterior sidewalls, windows, doors, ornamental detailing, and to repaint the outside to its original paint color. Phase 4 will be to restore the interior, the walls, and the ceiling. The benefits of this restoration work are twofold. Paschal Hall will continue to help tell the story of Kalaupapa, and Park Service employees will have gained new skills and confidence. The skills and confidence gained from Paschal Hall will be put to good use within the community. Almost all the buildings in Kalaupapa were constructed from 1900 to the 1960s. Most were built in a Hawaiian plantation style, a style that is becoming scarce and more valuable as an historic resource. They all need some type of preservation work.
Another great story from the Archaeology Channel. I always find it neat to see the archaeological stories from the United States.
Yes, it's great to learn about the history of our land and those who are here before us.
It is.
And now for our next segment. Even though it's winter and cooler outside, it is still a good time to enjoy nature. Our friends from the Cape Fear Garden Club continue to provide us with wonderful information and tips in their segment, Gardening in Nature. In today's episode, host Barbara Dowling takes us to the Stanley Reeder Carnivorous Plant Garden to teach us about the Venus flytrap.
Good morning. This morning we're here at the Stanley Reeder Carnivorous Plant Garden, and I am joined here at Gardening in Nature by Jessica Blake, Director of Stewardship and Community Conservation for the North Carolina Coastal Land Trust. You want to give a little bit of background on that?
Sure. Thank you. I'm glad to be here with you today. I'm with the Coastal Land Trust, and we're a regional land trust. We cover 31 counties in the coastal plain of North Carolina. Since our founding in 1992, we've protected almost 80,000 acres, including the Stanley Reeder Carnivorous Plant Garden. And we also do environmental education and curricula that incorporate the longleaf pine savanna, pollinators, and of course carnivorous plants, because we're so lucky to have them on our properties.
So great. Well, we're here because of the Venus flytrap. And it's something that is unique to this area because, first of all, nowhere else in the world can you find this in the wild except for about a 90-mile radius of Wilmington. And besides this area, there's also an area in Boiling Spring Lake and or Spring Lakes and also over in the Green Swamp.
The Green Swamp and areas of the Croatan also. So this 100-mile radius, kind of 90 miles, 75, we'll hear different numbers, but basically what it means is that where we are right now, there's only a small area surrounding us that have fly traps. And it expands into South Carolina and up the coast of North Carolina, but it's right here in the coastal region of the Carolinas.
Well, they are vanishing, and there's probably about 3 basic reasons why this is happening.
Right.
Excessive poaching, and we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
Everybody doesn't quite understand all that. And developers destroying natural habitat, and fire suppression. And I think I understand that as meaning they don't burn as much as they used to.
Correct.
But the flytrap needs that.
Right. The flytrap has a lot of really fun and unique adaptations, and one of it is their fire tolerance. In the longleaf pine areas that they grow, it's a fire-dependent habitat. And so as people develop, we have less fire happening in natural areas. And without the fire, the flytrap is not able to compete for resources. Everything sort of grows up over it. So it really does need the fire to really thrive, and the problem is fire suppression. So there are times when you will see fire happening, prescribed fire, the Nature Conservancy does in the Green Swamp where there's a lot of fly traps, because at one point when humans weren't here, fire would have happened naturally all the time.
Oh, okay. 50 years ago there were 20 counties, and we're down to, your count is about now 12 counties that have the Venus flytrap, and they, live in not good areas. They're boggy, they're wet, they're nitrogen deprived types of land. So they're not probably lands where people are going to grow crops or, do that kind of thing. I'm not sure why.
A little bit of both. You're right. You can grow crops anywhere because you're adding fertilizer and stuff. So the nutrients deficiency doesn't always rule that out. But they only grow in these nutrient poor areas, and also that's an area still located on the coastal plain where people want to live. So development is a huge threat. Their habitat is definitely being built up.
Okay. So they get the flytrap plant itself then gets its nutrients from the insects that they catch.
Right.
And I did have a picture here just to bring it a little more into focus. I don't know how many times this picture is magnified, but it gives you a little idea that if you could actually think about the idea that the flytrap itself is about the size of a quarter.
Right. The trap itself. I know a lot of people that have never seen fly traps just assume that they're these giant things because they've seen Little Shop of Horrors.
Right.
But they're a relatively small plant, and they have a bulb in the base under the soil, and then they grow anywhere between 4 and 7 on average leaves. And so the stalk and the trap are the leaf of the fly trap. But they're really small. They still can eat insects. Every now and then a big trap can eat a small frog, which is why they're carnivorous and not insectivorous. But they are tiny little plants that have learned to live and get food somewhere else because nature wasn't providing it in the soil.
All right. Well, I have my little puppet here, and I thought maybe we
adorable.
could use it to you could tell us how this actually happens with with the fly trap itself. And I'll let you have the bug.
All right, I'll be the fly.
You'll be the fly.
So like I said, so this is the trap. It's the leaf and the stalk, and the traps are open.
Okay.
And they're just waiting there, and they have nice coloration. They're a little shiny, so it sort of looks like nectar. It's very attractive to bugs, and there are trigger hairs inside. And so what happens is the bug says, "Oh, I'd like to land on this. I think it's delicious," and it hits a trigger hair. Now it waits 30 seconds. Because if a pine straw flies in there, you don't want that trap to close.
Right.
So this is a super smart design plant. So it hits this trigger hair, but then it moves because it starts to stick, and it triggers the other trigger hairs. So now if it hits 2 in that 30 seconds, it's gonna close.
Right.
And then as it struggles, it closes more because it's just aggravating those trigger hairs. And once it's done, it glocks all the way. And after it's hit a lot of the trigger hairs, it starts to release digestive enzymes inside there. So it's going to stay closed for about a week, and it's going to have this digestive juice come out and basically dissolve all the nutrients out of that bug and absorb it. So now it's been fed. And then when it reopens, all that's left is the exoskeleton, and it just blows away in the wind.
Oh, very fascinating, very fascinating. Thank you so much for coming out on this kind of, it's not very humid.
No, it's not.
It's not as bad as it could be.
Right.
And plus we have some shade here, so thank you so much.
Well, thank you for having us. We really appreciate it.
All right, great. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Miss Dowling.
That was the first part of their look at the Venus flytrap. Be sure to tune into the morning show next week for part 2.
Okay, everyone, get your thinking caps ready because when we come back from break, it's game time.
What challenging trivia game awaits today?
Keep it tuned here to find out.
We'll be right back.
Awkward. Do I look familiar? I should. You might remember me from here. Here. Or maybe even here.
But an awkward silence can be a great thing.
It can actually be a perfect moment to reach out to a friend and ask if they're okay if they seem down.
Doesn't matter how you say it.
You all right?
Everything's okay?
All G.
You all right, girl?
You cool?
You bug and dog. Just show you're there for them.
Go on, Kelly. Seize the awkward.
Hey, you haven't really been yourself lately. Are you okay?
Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
Welcome to Game Time. I'm your host, Shania McDuffie. It's sweet, it's delicious, and it's one of America's favorite foods to eat. I'm talking about chocolate. From cake to candy to cookies to pie to pudding, the list goes on and on. Chocolate can be found in a variation of almost every type of dessert. Today's Game Time features chocolate, and before we get to our contestants, let's learn about it. Here's Rocco and Jason to tell us a little bit more about chocolate.
With a variety of complex flavors found in each bite, chocolate offers a wonderful taste experience. The following descriptions are a general guideline to the flavors that may be found in each of the main chocolate categories. Not every flavor will be found in each bite of chocolate, but seeking out the flavors in your mouth is part of the fun.
Dark chocolate. Dark chocolate gives a strong chocolate flavor. It can feature nutty, spicy, floral, and/or earthy notes with hints of fruit and caramel. It finishes with a balanced aftertaste that is not too overpowering or too sweet.
Bittersweet chocolate. Bittersweet chocolate is similar to dark chocolate, except it has more chocolate liquor and even more intense chocolate flavor.
Milk chocolate. Milk chocolate offers a sweet flavor since it is made with milk and a higher sugar content than the darker varieties noted above. It also has a smaller quantity of chocolate liquor and therefore offers fewer flavors and aromas.
Finally, white chocolate. White chocolate, which is not made with chocolate liquor, really isn't considered a chocolate, but a confectioner's coating. It is made with cocoa butter that makes it rich and creamy with a variety of sweet flavors. Notes included cream, milk, honey, vanilla, caramel, and/or fruit.
Now, you may have noticed that we have been referring to various categories of chocolate with terms like flavors and aromas. Well, we did that because great chocolate manufacturers chose their cocoa beans in the same way a winemaker chooses his or her grape varieties.
To learn a little more about chocolate, we have a special segment we call the Chocolate Timeline.
Enjoy.
The history of the taste sensation we now refer to as chocolate is as lush and dark as the South American jungles where the story began 2,000 years ago. These highlights of the chocolate timeline will take you from ancient civilization to the stock exchange, and you won't gain a pound. 250 to 900 AD, the Mayan civilization is credited with being the first people to fully appreciate the cacao tree, which is still the original source of chocolate as we know it today. They would harvest the seeds and finally ground them into syrupy paste, which became a chocolate beverage. 1400 to 1500, the Aztecs developed trade routes with the Maya and quickly began to share their affection for chocolate, the earliest developments of which offered such an energy boost that their warriors often drank it before getting into battle. 1519, Spanish conquistadors arriving in the New World found the word used by the Aztecs for chocolate was almost impossible to pronounce and eventually morphed it into the more pleasant chocolat. 1521, chocolate mania wouldn't spread throughout the rest of Europe for nearly a century, but the explorer Cortez is given credit for being the first person to use sugar in addition to spices, creating the chocolate drink we're familiar with today. 1657, the early 17th century, the rest of Europe quickly caught on to what they had been missing, the new and improved sweetened version of chocolate became the greatest food-related fad to hit the continent. 1728, England was quick to adopt chocolate as part of their everyday cuisine, and it was here that flavors and preparation were mastered and refined. Many of the founding families of British chocolate are still in existence today. 1800, the inventions of the Industrial Revolution allowed for greater quantities of chocolate to be produced. That resulted in prices for the treat falling, and for the first time, chocolate could be afforded by the general public on both sides of the Atlantic. 1875, after nearly a decade of experimentation, Switzerland's Daniel Peter put the first milk chocolate on the market in 1875. By adding powdered milk to chocolate, he revolutionized the chocolate market. Finally, in 1925, chocolate became big business with the founding of the New York Cocoa Exchange. The exchange officially recognized cacao as a valuable stock commodity, which could be bought and sold on the open market. So the next time you reach for your favorite candy bar, dig into a deep forest cake or dust your milkshake with sprinkles. Remember the incredible history behind the wondrous substance which is chocolate. This with Historical Chocolate Timeline. I'm Britton. Back to you.
We hope you enjoyed all that delightful chocolate information. Now for a game.
For many, many years, various versions of tic-tac-toe have been played here on the morning show. And today we featured chocolate tic-tac-toe since we're talking about chocolate.
I've been told that the winner of today's game gets a chocolate bar.
You are correct. Let's send it over to Shania, who has all the game rules.
Here are the rules, and I will ask each of our contestants a multiple choice, true or false question about chocolate. If they get the right answer, they can place a mark on their tic-tac-toe board. The questions rotate back and forth. The first contestant to get 3 across wins. If we run out of questions or tie, the person with the most marks on the board wins. We flip the coin and Rocco will go first, and you will mark the board with wrapped Hershey Kisses, and Jason will mark his moves with unwrapped kisses. Okay, contestants, are you ready? Rocco, question 1. The word chocolate derives from the language of the Choctaw Indians. True or false?
True.
False. This next question is for Rocco. Crenipilius pernicosa is a delicious Italian chocolate bar. True or false?
False.
That is correct. Crenipilius pernicosa is a scientific name for witch's broom, which is a deformity in a wood plant like a tree. So, mark your board, get a chocolate bar.
I'll mark it right in the middle.
Okay. Jason, true or false? The largest Toblerone bar weighs 5 pounds.
False.
That is correct. Sochard, which produces Toblerone, actually offers the bar in a 10-pound size. Rocco.
I'm going to put mine the top right corner.
Okay. You ready?
Yes.
Mozart wrote about chocolate. True or false?
True.
That is correct. Mozart made reference to chocolate in his opera Così fan tutti.
I will mark the upper left.
Okay. Jason, are you ready?
Yes.
Dark chocolate is better for you than milk chocolate. True or false?
True.
That is correct. Researchers say dark chocolate has much better antioxidant properties. Okay.
I'm going to put mine at the bottom right.
Okay, next question. Which continent produces the most chocolate? A, Africa, B, Europe, C, North America, D, South America.
I'm going to say South America.
That is incorrect. The correct answer is Africa. Africa produces close to double the tonnage than that of South America. Okay. The Hershey bar was first made in A, 1900, B, 1920, C, 1940, or D, 1960.
Can you repeat the answers?
A, 1900, B, 1920, C, 1940, D, 1960.
1900.
That is correct.
I'm gonna do the middle right side.
Congratulations. Our winner is Jason. You are this year's chocolate tic-tac-toe champion, and here's your chocolate bar.
Thank you very much.
Good game, Jason.
Good game, Rocco.
Well, that does it for this edition of the morning show.
Please follow us on Twitter for all of the latest and most up-to-date announcements at NHCS TV.
And you can watch our shows on demand on YouTube or just search for NHCS Schools.
For the best TV of all, each and every day, keep it tuned right here for New Haven County Schools TV on the Learning Network of the Cape Fear.
Have a great day.
And a wonderful week.